Hi, this is Alex Helmreich, the Sports Information Director at Chadron State College, and I'm sitting here this afternoon with Chadron State women's basketball coach Tim Keneally. The Eagles had a successful weekend at home, earning 2 victories in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, a 64-60 win over New Mexico Highlands last Friday at Armstrong Gymnasium, and then that was followed by a gritty 81-70 victory over Western New Mexico. It's actually the 3rd victory in a row for Chadron State. They're now 4-11 overall. More importantly, 4-7 in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, and are remaining in that playoff hunt. Coach, beginning with New Mexico Highlands, a team who came into the game really with a pretty good record. They were 8-6 overall, 4-6 in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, so you knew that it'd be a tough test. But you got a great performance from Rachel Schmidt, scoring 16 points off the bench in just 22 minutes of action. And Kata Williams and Caitlin Petrie each scored in double figures for you as well.
Yeah, it was a good team win. They have a lot of kids on their team that are really, really athletic and can put up a lot of points. And I thought we did a good job just, for the most part, taking care of the basketball, especially against, pressure from athletes like that. And, those kids did, obviously get in double figures, which helps. Another big key to the game was Marla Munson, shutting down the leading scorer in the conference, Lopez, who was averaging almost 20 points a game. And she held her scoreless, and I thought that was also a really, really big performance.
Had a nice first half. You owned a 5-point lead, 29-24 there at intermission. Then New Mexico Highlands kind of just regrouped, came back out, and really kind of displayed that athleticism, even taking a 6-point lead with about 10 minutes left to go. But the Eagles, to your girls' credit, got back into it. But how did you kind of get back into that flow? Your defense kind of created some good offensive opportunities.
Yeah, it did. We were able to get out and run a little bit and get some good looks in transition, and we got a couple offensive rebounds, that we were able to put in, Rachel in particular. And the other thing we really focused on, especially, the second part of the second half, was just trying to get to the rim and shoot more free throws. This team really pressures out hard on the perimeter, and even when you still have your dribble, they're going to pressure you really hard, and it opens up driving lanes. And we just knew we had to be aggressive, not back down after first contact when you're driving, and keep lowering that shoulder and trying to get into the paint and get to the rim. And if we could do that, we knew we'd get, fouls called, and we'd get to the free throw line and hopefully get, make a few easy buckets.
Well, getting to the free throw line was certainly the case in Saturday's win over Western New Mexico. The Eagles went to the line 39 times, hitting 29 of them. Caitlin Petrie finished 9 of 10, but also got a really nice performance from Sadie Wall at the free throw line, hitting all 7 of her attempts. Rachel Schmidt was 4 of 5, and those 3 girls again led the Eagles in scoring. It is actually the first time since 2008 that 3 women's players have scored over 15 points. So really a nice offensive performance, scoring 53 points in the second half.
Yeah, and I thought we were moving the ball really well. Western New Mexico had a couple of athletic guards, but outside of those 2 positions, I thought that we were much more athletic than they were, and I thought we could put the dribble down and be able to get around them and at least beat that primary defender and force secondary help. Once we did force that secondary help, we were able to, get a lot of drop passes for layups and kickouts, not necessarily for shots, but for more driving opportunities off kickouts. And like you said, we shot 39 free throws. Our goal was to shoot 30, and we reached that goal, and then we were able to knock a couple down.
Now, the Mustangs entered the game winless. They had lost the night before, 72-35, I believe, at the University of Nebraska-Kearney. And so a lot of people probably thought that it was just going to kind of be an easy game, kind of a cakewalk. But the Mustangs really came out at the beginning of the game, set the tempo, and even opened up an 11-point lead.
Yeah, I thought they came out with good energy, you know what I mean? And they came out and they knocked down a couple 3-pointers and just kind of got that confidence going. And we knew that after that happened, it was going to be a grinded-out type of game. And, we're not the type of team that can just walk into a gym and beat people just by showing up, And to Western New Mexico's credit, they came in ready to go. They hit some shots early, got some confidence going. And once they got that going, I thought their effort was at a very high level, especially in the first half. And, it took about 30, 32 minutes before we were able to kind of go on a stretch where we were able to get a couple defensive stops, knock down a couple shots, and kind of open the game up a little bit.
Interestingly enough, your team took 30 shots in the first half, 30 shots in the second half. You were just 8 of 30 in the first half, but 17 of 30 in the second half. What changed at halftime?
Nothing. We just started making shots. In the first half, it was really frustrating because they were kind of running some token full court pressure, and we were able to beat the pressure pretty easily. We were kind of having Caitlin Petrie bring the ball up the floor, and she was able to, get past that primary defender, and we had numbers constantly. It was 3-on-2, 2-on-1, 5-on-4. And we were doing a good job of moving the ball. We were getting wide open looks. We just weren't making them. And at halftime, a lot of the girls were asking me, what do we need to do offensively? And I said, just make an open jump shot, and it'll cover up for a lot of our mistakes. And I think in the second half, we just kind of settled down a little bit and started making some of those shots.
Well, Caitlin Petrie led the team with a game-high 20 points. She also added 9 rebounds. Sadie Waugh had another great game for the Eagles in the post, finishing with 17 points, 7 boards. And then Rachel Schmidt had 16 again. Her previous career high was 13 until entering the weekend, and then she scored 16 against both New Mexico schools, so she certainly had a great weekend. But really the story now kind of coming for Shattern State is Caitlin Petrie. She's currently the the Nebraska Division II Player of the Week for the women's basketball in Nebraska. And then it was just announced today that she is the RMAC All-Academic Player of the Year. So certainly a nice couple of days for Caitlin.
Yeah, it is, and this is a very deserving award. Caitlin's a great kid. Obviously, everyone knows she's a great basketball player, but academically, you won't find a better student. You know what I mean? And I think she's carrying a 3.95 GPA, business major. It's one kid that, works extremely hard in the classroom, and she takes a lot of pride in her academics, and this is good recognition for her, the women's basketball program in Shattern State.
The Eagles actually have 6 other girls who are on the honor roll. They all have GPAs of at least 3.3 or higher. And as, of course, followers of the women's basketball program know, the team has finished second nationally in Division II the last 2 years. So, Coach, I want to commend you. Your girls are doing a great job in the classroom.
I appreciate it.
So it certainly won't get any easier for the Eagles this weekend. They play 2 tough games on the road. They're going to be at Colorado State University Pueblo on Friday, and then that'll be followed by a game at the University of Colorado Springs on Saturday. Pueblo currently is 12-3, 9-2 in the conference, and really one of the top-tier teams in the conference. Their only 2 losses in the RMAC have come to Metro State and Fort Lewis, and those 2 teams are beating up on everyone. So, Coach, what are you going to have to do to try to keep this winning streak going at Pueblo?
At Pueblo, I think, defensively, we're going to have a really solid performance from all 5 people. This isn't the type of team where you can just shut down 1 or 2 kids. They run a 4-out-1 motion. It's kind of a variation of the dribble drive motion where it's a lot of penetrating into the middle of the paint and kicking out to shooters. And they shoot the 3 at a very, very high percentage. Their post player is a Division I transfer from Idaho State. Very good post player inside. And I think defensively it's going to take a group effort. And, we're not the type of team that, necessarily is going to score 75 points a night. If we're going to have opportunities to win games, generally we're going to have to hold teams into the 50s or low 60s. And to do that against a team like Pueblo, it's not easy to do. So we're going to have to play excellent defense, hopefully a few shots, fall on the offensive end. Colorado Springs is another team that's extremely athletic. They have a couple guards, the Brown sisters, who are probably the 2 most athletic guards in our conference, and if we're going to be able to stay in that game, I think we're really going to have to take care of the ball on the offensive end. They get a lot of steals, force a lot of turnovers, which kind of is the key to their offense, is transition baskets. So we're going to kind of have to slow them down a little bit on the offensive end and make sure we're taking care of the ball and not giving up those easy transition hoops.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck to you at Pueblo and UCCS. Both of those games tip off at 5:30 p.m. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, Alex.